Hello, how is everybody doing? We are live. So, Naima, welcome. Aniko, how are you? And it looks like Hisham, your first time here? Welcome. May take a couple minutes for some more people to arrive, but how we do this is I'm here to answer your questions about Shref, what's going on? About learning English. I've been an English teacher in the United States for 20 years, so pretty old, but I know a lot about English and I can answer most of the questions during the hour. Sometimes I get stumped, which is what we sometimes say in English when we don't know the answer to something. So sometimes I get stumped, but the class is driven by your questions. So that I rarely introduce anything new here as a lesson, but Trifon Beer, it's been a while. How are you? Welcome. Virschlaf is here. If you are part of the Facebook group, I did do a mini video yesterday, mini lesson, which I can talk about right now. It's really short. But when you meet someone for the first time, you might say, "How are you?" Pretty simple. Most of you, I'm sure, know that. How are you? But as the quarantine is hopefully ending in your country, and maybe you haven't seen someone for a couple months, you might want to change that "How are you?" present tense, meaning how are you right now, to how have you been? How have you been? And that creates a longer length of time to ask how someone is. How have you been? It implies like maybe over the 2 months of quarantine or whatever. Dennis, what is going on? Asma. Right, exactly. Asma is exactly right. How are you? You might say, because you see each other every day. If you have someone in a class, excuse me, at your work, oh, how are you? How are you doing? But if it's been a little longer, if you just saw the person the day before, if you just saw them yesterday, how have you been? Might sound a little strange. But if there is a week or a couple months, how have you been? Works really well. Rafael is here again. Rafael doesn't miss many classes. I don't think Asma misses many classes. Naima doesn't either. Aniko, been on a streak. So thank you all. Quiet Phantom is here. Welcome. So a lot of people show up every day. And that is so awesome because I'm sure your English you're working really hard. If you're showing up to this class, it lasts an hour. Many of you last the whole hour. I hope it's really helping. So Rafael, Aroni, how are you? Oh, Aroni. I was corrected the other day. I wanted to say year in Italian. Anno. And I realized how important it is in Italian to make your double N's, because anno is a lot different, right? Aroni? Anno is like, I won't go into it, but big difference. And Nori, I answered her question already, typed it out, but she was wondering about bickering. Bickering, and that is a verb. It's a good verb to use for the little arguments that brothers and sisters have, that siblings have. They're not major arguments, but I know my mom, when I was growing up, she often said, "Stop bickering with your sister." So nitpick. We also say nitpick when you're just picking on someone, you're just bugging them, you're just messing with them. These little things that annoy them. All right, so, Trayvon Beer has a good question too. So, wow, lots of good questions. Vierschlaf, okay. So, Rafael, what is the difference between a laugh and laughter? All right, we don't say a laughter, so I'll change that. So, what's the difference between a laugh and laughter? Mostly, laughter is like the plural form, almost. You definitely could say laughs. But a laugh, person laughs one time. But if you hear laughter, it might be a whole audience, a whole group of people who are laughing. So you might say, the movie theater erupted in laughter after the funny joke. So, good question. Storm, okay. Vierschlaf. I gotta talk a little bit about Aniko. Thank you. Aniko, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for that nice comment. Please explain the difference between storm, hurricane, tornado. So storm can mean a lot of different things. You might have a thunderstorm. You might just have, and that's with thunder and lightning. You may just have a rainstorm. So storm just talks about any violent weather. Maybe a lot of wind, maybe a lot of rain. Hurricane, always. And sometimes you hear typhoon. Okay. Hurricane and typhoon, these are storms that develop only over the ocean. Typhoons, Pacific Ocean. Hurricanes, Atlantic Ocean. Usually bigger, like miles and miles and miles wide. Very powerful wind. But a tornado develops over land, usually smaller, usually doesn't last as long. If you have a mile-wide tornado, that's big. And it develops over land, and usually the winds are much stronger with a tornado, much stronger. Hope that helps. Oh no, asthma. I'm sorry. If you're part of the Facebook group, can you leave a voice message? Oh wait, I'm jealous because I say his name the right way or in a good way. Do I say your name the wrong way? Asma. I had a student a couple years ago. Her name was Asma. And that's how she pronounced it, I think. She was from Somalia. Oh, yeah, Rafael. Yeah, pretty much. I think it's with the one N, right? Aroni can correct me. Yeah, it's exactly it. That's exactly it. Trifon Beer, welcome again. Oh, calzone would be nice. Calzone would be really nice. So the difference between obviously and evidently, they're both the same. They both mean it is very clear. We actually have a saying in English. It's as obvious. So it's as obvious as the nose on my face. So when something everybody should see is also evident. It's evident meaning everybody should know about it. So maybe there's a couple at your school who is flirting, and maybe everybody knows they like each other, but they won't admit it, you can say, it's obvious they like each other. It's evident that they like each other. Yeah, so those are both the same thing. Both the same thing. Yeah, so Aroni. And I'm not sure I'm saying it correctly, but yeah, it was really hard for me to say his name correctly, not like an American, Aaron. So I've been working at it for a while. Quiet Phantom, these are the same terms. Taunting and provoking. It is doing things that are gonna make somebody upset. Yeah, you may provoke them into a fight. You may taunt them into a fight. Those two terms are the same. Hey, welcome. You didn't sleep in. We and I might be the only, or we might be the only person in my time zone. Rafael might be. Where I live, it is 9:11 a.m. a.m. Beppe, how are you? Is there a difference between tear and teardrops? Are they the same? Yeah, they are the same. It probably was teardrops, for a while, but as you know, in English, we get a little lazy with our language, so we try to drop sounds. And yeah, teardrops. She had teardrops coming from her eyes. He had tears coming from his eyes. Same thing. Same thing. But let's say there was a piece of paper and a tear fell onto that paper and made it wet. You might say teardrop on the paper rather than tear, but maybe not. All right, Quiet Phantom. Here's a good question. Honan. Okay. What's the difference between Honan and Homan? All right, I don't think Homan we use. I can't think of a reason we would use Homan. If you have heard that, I think it is just people using hone in the wrong way. And when we talk about hone in, it means there could be several different possibilities, but you pick one. So maybe scientists right now are honing in on a vaccine for the coronavirus. So there might be many different options, but they will eventually, in the future, hone in and find the right one. Hope that helps. That's some upper level stuff, some advanced stuff, I think. Pepe. I answered it right? Pepe. I'm the two P's. Pepe. Is that right? Pepe. All right. It takes me a while sometimes. It takes me a while. Italianissimo. Grazie mille. Raphael, I want to get to that one. Yeah, we do actually. Trifon beer. Americans use brainstorm a lot, especially as English teacher. I use brainstorm almost every class. And if you are unsure of what brainstorm means, someone in the room, it means taking time to think out a situation. So you take time just to think not work, just to think. And I ask my students before they start a story to brainstorm some ideas. Aniko, it's a good question here. No use and, I'll just change that. And does not make sense, okay? That's how we use it. It's no use and it doesn't make sense. We do use both. We do use both. If it's no use, it means it's really not worth doing. Let's say there was a tornado coming through your town. It's no use to go to the store. It's very dangerous. Just stay in. And it wouldn't make sense for someone to go out in that storm. But they're slightly different. If it doesn't make sense, it just, it's tricky, but it just doesn't make sense. It's not realistic. There's no reason to do it. So no use does not make sense. Very, very close, but no use, yeah, they could both mean they don't make sense. It's no use, no use. Thank you, Aroni. Yeah, no. Raphael is wondering, is it common for my students to say they're going to the John, meaning they're going to the bathroom? No, that's an older person kind of thing. Maybe someone my age, and I'm 44, but someone older, they might use John more than my students. So young people don't use that. Oh, Quiet Phantom says, you guys are such early birds. I'd be dead asleep at 9 a.m. I can't sleep late. Maybe it's because I'm so old and maybe you're younger, Quiet. But I'm up at 6:30 a.m., 6:30. Yes, Naima. She knows it. Maybe others don't, so I'll talk about it. Yeah, crocodile tears. It is an idiom meaning someone is crying just to show off. I'll use that phrasal verb, just to show off, just to get attention. Crocodile tears. They're not real. Crocodile tears. Nice job, Naima. It's 3 p.m., Aniko. Beppe. Anche te. Anche te. Also you, but I don't think he's talking to me. Or she. Maybe she. Sorry. Maybe she. Whoa. When Asma. Okay. Wow. 3 of them here. Okay. The joy of opting out. I have had this question before. Opting out. We've talked about this. Opting out means not participating, not taking part in. So sometimes what I'm doing right now is I'm trying not to watch the news. I'm opting out of watching the news. And I find that I'm much happier because the news is pretty sad these days. So I am finding joy in opting out of the news. Some of my students, their parents will opt them out of a test. That means they won't take the test. We have these state and nationwide tests. Some parents opt their children out of it. We do not use dig your well before you're thirsty, but I can imagine, that might be British, but it means like proactive. Let's talk about that. Proactive versus reactive. I'll just keep it react. So if you react to something, that means the situation has happened and then you try to adjust. So let's say you have to pay a bill. If you were reactive, you would wait until that bill is late and then pay it. And it might be too late. You might get charged money for that. But if you're proactive, you might say, oh, let me get that bill paid before it's due. Proactive, you are acting before something is going to happen. So that's what digging your well before you're thirsty means. Don't wait until you're thirsty to dig that well for water. It might be too late. We often say, don't give a rip. Don't give... That's some slang for you that is often used. I don't give a rip means I don't care. Yeah, Naima, yeah. My friends and I, we often say this for a greeting. What's going on? What's going on? That doesn't mean, no, yeah, that doesn't mean there's a problem. We say that quite a bit. Hey, what's going on? It just means we say, what's up? How you doing? How you doing? What's going on? Yeah, doesn't have to be a problem at all. Boom, quiet, yes. Hone in. Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. Boom, you nailed it. Focus in on an objective. Yes, hone in, nailed it. Whoa. Beppe. It would take me a while. Okay. I think Beppe is saying that he or she understands about 70% of what I say. So that is awesome. No. Rafael, awesome question here. Bickering and snickering, are they the same? No, they're not. So remember to review, bickering, small little fight, nothing physical, probably happens every day, brothers and sisters. Snickering is small laughter. Snickering. And sometimes people might snicker behind their mouth. Something like that. So snickering. I can imagine in most countries, the teacher is teaching and they don't hear a funny joke or something, you might have students snickering, trying to hide their laughter. Oh man, some good questions this morning. Thank you guys. So, is there a difference between to get by and to make it? Yeah. There is. Let's do this. So I changed one word and now they mean the same. So if you just get by, if you barely make it, it means you accomplished it, you got it done, but just barely, just a little bit. So let's talk about those bills each month. Maybe you have a job that just allows you to get by. Sometimes we say scrape. Sometimes we say that too, scrape by. Only with money though. So if you are barely making it, if you're barely getting by, you might be just scraping by. So that's with money. If you're talking about a class and maybe you just barely pass, you just barely make the grade, you just barely get by. Quiet, Phantom. You haven't slept yet? Well, you are what we call a night owl. If you like to stay up all night. We are early birds. because we wake up early, go to sleep early. Weerschlaf, what's the weather like in my town? I wanted to go outside. I wanted to do this outside, but it looks sunny right now, actually. It looks sunny right now, but we are expecting light rain this morning. So, but it looks really sunny, and it would probably be hard for me to read the text on my computer. So I'm in here, not a very nice looking room, but I can see. Michelle, how are you? Welcome. Asma, you are welcome. Yes, let's talk about baby boomer. Okay, and we got hubris coming up. That's good. All right, so baby boomers, Michelle would like to know. Okay, I think I mentioned it yesterday. It's good review though, if you weren't here too. So after World War II, we're talking 1945. Mostly men were fighting different parts of the country, different parts of the world. Then they come home to the United States. And I think baby boomers are all around the world. But once the war ends, the troops come home, the soldiers come home, and then people start making babies. And so you have a boom. That means a huge increase in the number of babies. Huge increase. So those people right now are in their 70s and 80s, the baby boomers. And when you hear boomer, I often say it. My students call me a boomer. I'm not. At 44, I'm not. But often a boomer is when an older person can't figure out technology. I've been guilty of that sometimes. Hubris. Now notice how this is spelt. It's got the rare silent H. Hubris. Just forget that H is there. Hubris. And it means a lot of pride. A lot of pride. And sometimes we say pride comes before a fall. So if you think too highly of yourself, if you think you're better than you are, you might have hubris, too much pride. And often that can lead to someone's downfall, someone's destruction, someone's weakness. All right, quiet. What is going on? Oh, Raphael. Okay. I often hear the expression, all you need do, and wonder, where did the two go? Okay, I don't know, quiet. See, as I was reading that, I wanted to add that too. So I would say all you need to do I just say all you need to do, I say the two. Maybe it is old-fashioned. All you need do, yeah, probably old-fashioned. All you need to do is study for the test and you will do fine. Fingers crossed, hopefully. Raphael. Skirmish and bickering. Okay. Skirmish. Skirmish can, when I hear skirmish, I would think of a small fight, but it is with weapons. So we're talking about a war, and a skirmish might be little fights that lead up to a battle. Skirmish. Maybe somebody could be killed in a skirmish, actually. So they're not the same. Bickering is with the mouth. Bickering, and skirmish would be more physical, but often with weapons in war. Good question. Good question. Aniko, yeah, got to get that mattress in here. Okay, and my son's balloons. There will be a video premiering at 10 o'clock when the class is done, and it is about drive-by birthdays versus driving to your house for a birthday. So he had his birthday drive-by this past week, and so I made a video about that. How we are. Okay. Raphael, just saw a question. Sorry, I got distracted. You'll see it in the video if you watch it. You'll see it in the video. Try to get these questions. So to get by, we talked about you're just barely making it to get by, but to live by, very different. So you might have a certain code that you live by, and maybe it's treat everyone with respect. So live by is quite different. It means often. I mean, you could live by the lake, so it could be very different. You could physically be next to something. Like I live by a road. But if you live by something, it's just how you live your everyday life. Okay? Everyday life. Giuseppe. I didn't know that. Beppe. So Beppe. Probably a guy, right? Probably a guy. Beppe. Welcome. Sharef. Man. Sharef. Snickering under masks. Absolutely. Yes. So a little preposition right there. You could say snickering under masks. Perfectly fine. You could say snickering behind masks. Same thing. I'm sure if you're learning English, you might think, oh, preposition. I need to use the right one. Yeah, most of the time, but some of the time, two can work. But you can also say it really messed up, like snickering on masks. That means maybe somebody is sitting on the mask and snickering. Snickering beside masks. It's just, I am going to do a prepositional video, another one. I've done one just about prepositions. This birthday one has a little bit of preposition in it, and then I will do more because I know prepositions can be difficult. Yeah, right there, man. Those, Michelle, those are the baby boomer years. Baby boomer years. Borka, welcome, Borka. No, there's no difference between this. If you're saying travel the world, it means you're all over the world. There's another preposition. And travel around the world, same thing. So if I say travel, look at that. A third way to say that. So they mean the same thing. Yeah, quiet, I'm sorry. There's still a shadow on my face. And I know you guys are not coming here to see my face. If you were, I wouldn't have any viewers. But I do want to try to make it somewhat not distracting. So I had to sacrifice the mask. I had to sacrifice the mattress. Sorry. He's still here. He or she is still here. Miho, thank you so much. The podcast, and Ibrahim left me a nice. Yeah, the podcast lately is just, I will put some of these classes on the podcast. If something has a lot of verbal teaching, not so much visual, I will put that video in audio form on the podcast so people can listen while they're driving, while they're doing chores. Yesterday, Aroni has a podcast. I was working in my backyard listening to his podcast. So it's sometimes the audio is really good. You can transport it. It's portable. Portable. You can carry it with you. And of course, the video, not so easy. But thank you, Mijo. Thank you. Cecilia from Argentina. Welcome. Ibrahim from Egypt. How are you? Sharaf, how are you? Yes, and I'm going to wake Cecilia up one day with the podcast. While she's sleeping, I'll say, wake up, Cecilia, wake up. Can I link the podcast? I probably could. It's a good question. It is on Apple Podcasts. It's on all of the, and it's just Learn American English with this guy. My same name. I think I'm gonna change the name of the channel here. Learn, because everybody just calls me Brent, so. That's what it's called. But after this, I will link it in the description. Is it? I don't think it's in the description. I think just the Facebook group is. Nguyen, Halifax, how are you? Welcome. Trickle down. All right. That is often talked about with economics, with money, trickle down. So the idea is big business makes a lot of money and it will eventually trickle down into savings for common people. But there also could be a trickle down effect in life. So I'm trying to explain this in simple English, but it's a pretty tough topic. So in the United States right now, a lot of places around the world, businesses are closed. So there isn't a lot of tax money going around. People aren't making money, so there won't be as many taxes as there once was. I'm sorry, getting a little complicated here. That might trickle down to firefighters, police officers, teachers, people who make money from taxpayer money. If there isn't as much taxpayer money, there might not be as much money to pay people who work for the taxes. That would be a trickle-down effect. I hope that helps. I tried to do that in as simple English as possible. Trickle down. That's a tough one. Tough one. All right. It's a good question, Quiet. A lot of times when we talk about often, that's how I pronounce it, often. But sometimes it's almost like, you have that D instead of a T. We sometimes pronounce our T's as D's, especially when they're double T's. Later, or even one T, later. That T is not that strong. It's almost like a D, later. It's actually the way I'm pronouncing it. Often, a little more of a T sound there, but not much. And if you want to pronounce it often with a D, I think it'll work. Especially if your language doesn't have a lot of T sounds. Use a D, might be easier. Whoa, yeah, I don't know, Asma. I don't know those business terms right there. Maybe somebody else does in here. I don't know it. Sorry. Sorry. Oh, I copied myself in the chat for my podcast. Oh, Naima, thank you, thank you. Jash, welcome, welcome. Look at that. Your first question in the chat that I'm aware of, and I don't know this word. Collation? Collation? I know coalition. I know collate. So just, let me look this up. Wow, I'm looking up, I'm cheating. I try not to use the internet for these questions because it takes longer. I've never seen that word. I'm sorry. It does look like a English teaching word and I need to learn it, but I'm sorry, I don't. Apparently there are 7 types. Man, it would take me, even if I knew it, it would take me a long time to explain that. I'm sorry, Josh. Ask another question. I don't want your first question to be a bomb. I don't want to mess up on your first question. All right, Halifax. Man. Halifax. I talked about this a little bit yesterday in the chat. There's still in this country, the Minneapolis accident. Yeah, how about accident? I don't know, man. I'd call it murder. What that police officer did, put his knee on a man's neck for well over 5 minutes. I couldn't watch that whole video. I've seen a couple seconds here and there, but the man dies. So I just think that if that was a black police officer kneeling on a white, man in handcuffs, that person would have been maybe arrested right then. But it's not fair in this country. And I don't want to see the violence. It's too bad. A lot of people are getting hurt, but there are a lot of people upset that still in this country in 2020, if you are black, you're not treated as fairly all the time. It's hard to explain, but as a white guy in my 40s, if I went into that store like George Floyd did, and what he's accused of is trying to pass a fake $20 bill or counterfeit $20 bill. If that had been me, I'm sure things would have happened differently. Like maybe the police officers would have believed me more from the beginning. Oh, this is just a mistake. It just escalated. It got really bad really quickly. And I do think skin color has something to do with it. I do. So it's unfortunate. But sometimes it takes bad things to happen for good things to happen. But we've been dealing with it for a long time in this country. And of course, me being white, I don't know as much as if I was black. I would feel it more. So all I can do is just, speak out when I see something wrong. Could I explain the term integrate? Yeah, thank you for the question, though. Thank you for the question. Integrate, it means to take two things and try to blend them together. So when I'm teaching English, I try to integrate some American history into my lessons. So try to blend them in. Integrate, speaking of race relations. At one time in this country, you might know, there were schools if you were black and schools if you were white. And in the 1970s, those schools were integrated. So blacks and whites went to school together. More or less. That gets a little complicated too, but yeah, 100%. Nguyen, yeah, I'm going to copy and paste this, but you pretty much nailed it right there. Boom. Nice job. Yeah, when the people in power or the people with money have problems, it often trickles down to everyone else. Yes, businesses are hurting, other people feel it, trickle down. Nicely done. So Borka is wondering, this baseball cap that I'm wearing, baseball hat, we call them the same thing. Wondering how much would it cost? Yeah, the American South and the American North, the prices are almost the same. Some things are a little cheaper in the South, but I would say, yeah, this was probably $25 to $30, like you said. My son, I think, gave it to me for Christmas. They probably paid $30. It's a Boston Bruins hat. That is a hockey team around here. William, thank you. Are you William? Are you the same William that who's sharing my videos on your Facebook? If so, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You never went to jail. I'm not sure. So he's saying, the interviewer says, it says here you never went to jail. Me, correct. I was taken. Is that the same person talking about that? So let's talk about this. Either way, we can change it around. All right. So if someone says, I've never been to jail, it's exactly what it sounds like. They've never spent time behind bars. Now with this the way this is said, I'll fix it up. This could mean that there was a situation in the past, and maybe this person almost went to jail, but they ended up never going to jail for that one time. So you never went to jail. But it might mean it might mean someone just talking, very relaxed, and maybe they also mean you've never been to jail. So it's difficult to know what that interviewer was talking about. Could go two ways. Thank you, Cecilia. Yeah, I looked it up. It looks like there were 7 different combinations, noun, verb. Maybe I'll do a video on it. Whew. Thank you. Naima, I am going to, because Ibrahim was talking about shadowing. So I want to do a video where the last minute or so, I will be speaking in a way that you can shadow. For some new vocabulary I would like to introduce. So I think shadowing can be helpful. All right, Quiet is wondering, what? Difference between in that and as in. Oh. They could be the exact same, pretty much. when you are trying to emphasize what you're saying. I can't think of any good examples now. But it's a nice transition when you're trying to explain yourself better. So, why can't I think of something right now? As in, but it's often tying two thoughts together. I need to come up with an example. That would be much better. Maybe there is a couple who is living together and can't think of anything right now. Sorry. They're little. It's gonna bug me too that I can't think of it, but I want to answer some questions that I can. That's a tough one, quiet. That's a tough one. Because they're almost like little phrases that don't mean anything, but what does it mean to open up the red carpet? So in the United States, when there is like a fancy event or a movie premiere, they might roll out the red carpet. So famous people walking down, giving interviews. If you roll the red carpet out for someone, you give them a lot of nice stuff. So maybe for my son's birthday, well, we didn't, but if you roll out the red carpet, you have decorations, you just give them first class treatment. Roll out the red carpet. Yeah, Asma, people in business. Yeah, and I'd be careful unless you're going into business. But if you're listening to business people talk and you're not going into business, they will probably be using a lot of we call jargon. A lot of jargon, which in English, those are words that only if you go into business that they will use. So you don't have to learn a lot of business jargon unless you're going into business. So maybe Asma, that's one of your goals. But if I, listened English, native English speaker, but if I listened to some scientists talking with other scientists about creating a vaccine, even as an English speaker, I might be like, whoa, what are they talking about? I just don't use those words in my daily life, those scientific terms. So some of those words you might not need. Babars, how are you? Hi there. It's a great question. It actually is just something we say. Hi there. Nothing to do with there. Nothing to do with there. Here, there. Hi there. Just say it. Don't try to translate it. Yeah, we often say that. Hey, hi there. I actually probably don't say hi there, but hi there. A lot of people do though. Yeah. Hi there. All right. Cecilia, thank you. I will copy and paste that. I'm feeling bad. I think there were 2 questions I couldn't answer so far. Hopefully I'll answer the rest. Right. Wow. Sorry, man. Sorry. There are a lot of questions here I missed. I'm back on it. Yeah, Raphael, I'm going to change that, okay? Brent, instead of Brent, a sometime Alabama student. No, I'm not sure what you're trying to say, but a part-time, if I was, Part-time student. I would say it more like that. If you're talking about me going part-time, you could say Brent, a part-time student at the University of Alabama. Or if you are trying to say that I once went to Alabama, you could say Brent, you could say an alumnus. Or a former student. You could say that. Say that. All right. I'm sorry if I skip your question because we got less than 5 minutes. I'm going to try to hit some other ones, okay? Rod, what's going on, man? Zobeda, how are you? Yeah, so what? Zobeda, it's a good question right here. So to make an appointment, she's saying that's a little more formal, right? You make an appointment with the doctor. So what if you wanted to just get together with a friend? Sometimes we say dinner date. Sometimes we say dinner date, and it doesn't have to be romantic. You could say just, what would we call it? A get together. You could say to a friend, hey, do you want to have a get together? Maybe at coffee shop, 2:30 on Tuesday. So you could say it like that. We often say that. Man, I haven't seen you in a while. We need to get together sometime. Let's set a date. And you might say that. Let's set a date. That would mean let's set a time. All right. What's that, Sharef? You tried 6 times? Tried 6 times for what? I missed it. I'm sorry. D-Chant, welcome. My review of Duolingo. For the first 6-7 months learning Italian, I used Duolingo a lot. I used it a lot, and I found it pretty helpful for the very basics of the language. It helps you understand how to make nouns plural. It helps you show possession. So I think it can be helpful, but I think pretty early on in learning the language, it's a lot of wasted time. I did pay for the subscription for 6 months, I think. I really like this app right now. It's called Link. The free version is crap. The free version for Duolingo is better. But Link, if you pay, it's pretty good, actually. It's pretty good. So, some people like that gaming part of it that Duolingo offers. You get coins or something like that. You get on a streak, If somebody uses Duolingo, I wouldn't say, that's a waste of time. Because I think it can help for some people. I don't know, Ibrahim. I have heard about this lottery, though. I cannot say for sure. Maybe somebody in the chat knows. Hey, Borka, thank you. So I'm going back up. Maybe I didn't miss as many as I thought. All right, any last minutes? Because if you want to stick around for that birthday drive-by video, it should be coming on in 30 seconds. But of course, they make you wait 2 minutes for the premiere. So, Aniko, I do. I like Link, and they're not a paid sponsor. I don't have any sponsors. But what Link does is you can get audio, you can read, and you can translate pretty easily if you don't know the topic being covered. So I like link a lot. I like it a lot. Yeah, D-Chant, hang out. That's another thing you could say to your friend. Hey, do you want to hang out sometime? We haven't seen each other in a while. Let's just hang out. And that means no plans. Just get together. Yeah. Mega. Yeah, sorry. I started early. My wife has to go. I have to take my wife somewhere. We're getting our tires rotated on the car. It's a big day. So the front tires will be put on the back. The back tires will be put on the front. It's going to be a good day. But I might go live after Bob the Canadian's chat again. If people want me to, I think I will be home. I won't be home at the beginning, but I'll be there at the end. So I'm going to end it right now. Thank you all for joining. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, hit that bell, because then you'll get a notification for when I go live. So I don't use a mic. It's just my phone. Yeah, I've tried to use the mic and it doesn't work. It prevents me from talking with the YouTube mobile app. So sorry. Thank you guys. Maybe we'll see each other later today, but thank you for the good hour. It's fun. Thank you so much.